Hello there, this is Esther from Stampinstarcreations. Thank you for joining me on my channel today and for another colour challenge. These challenges can be found over on Facebook. So for this month we are going in with Melon Mambo, So Saffron, Pretty Peacock and Basic Grey as our colours. Today I'll be using the Positive Thoughts stamp set. So sometimes when I go to stamp, I like to lay out my colours first and then to put the stamps on the corresponding colour that I want to be using on my project. It just helps me to kind of have a visual as to where things are going to go, what colours I'm going to choose. Using a strip of Whisper White paper, I'm doing 3 generation stamping. So stamping with the darker colours, you can get about 3 impressions out of it. And as you can see, it just creates 3 shades of the same colour. Using So Saffron and trying to squeeze in the butterflies in any space that I can put them. And using the Basic Grey for the feathers. So I use the Melon Mambo for the flowers and Pretty Peacock for the fern leaves. So I need to fussy cut these all out. So in order to help me just roughly cut around all of the images before going ahead and actually fussy cutting them. And there's the result of the fussy cutting. I decided with the feathers I wanted to add my hint of silver because this was part of the challenge. So you can do this with very juicy ink pads where you ink up your stamp in the Versamark ink and then in the coloured ink. And this means that the Versamark ink does actually come through and you can stick your embossing powder to it. Now, because I've got an older Basic Grey ink pad, I gave it a go to see if this technique would work. I found that it wasn't really juicy enough for the Versamark ink to stick to it. So once I tap away at the excess embossing powder, there wasn't a lot left on the feather at all. So not to worry, there's a plan B. Now if you like this technique, I do have another video with this technique where I do these dipping of the feathers. So grabbing in my Stamparatus, I'm going back to plan B, stamping first in the coloured ink, wiping that, if I can catch my runaway chamois, getting my chamois out to just wipe the stamp clean before going in with the sticky Versamark ink. So I'm just partly stamping that, I'm not doing it all the way, I'm just concentrating on one side of the image. And then placing it down because it goes right back down in the same spot if it's held in place. So using my silver embossing powder again, sprinkling it on and just tap it, and if you kind of flick the back it takes the excess off. As you can see, this stuck a lot better than my previous one and you can see where the powder has stuck. So just heat emboss the powder and this will melt it, and there you can see how it's created that lovely sheen to one side of the feather. And I went ahead and did 2 more and then I've fussy cut those out. So again, this is another technique I've tried before, and I'm laying down my cut images just to kind of create a design onto my card and figure out where I want them to go. And then I'm going to take all those off because I want to do some stamping in the background. So I'm going in with the Basic Grey again and just stamping the image off to the side to see what strength ink that I want. So I'm going in with 2nd generation stamping, so stamping off first and then stamping onto my card with the ink to have that lighter shade of grey. So when I'm doing my stamping, I'm laying down the areas where my images are going to sit on top of it. It doesn't matter about being too precise. In fact, you want it slightly off to create a shadow effect. I thought Melon Mambo and Pretty Peacock would make a lovely combination for my card base, but I thought I was lacking in the So Saffron department. So I'm using my makeup brushes. Now I've recently re-inked my ink pad, so this was coming out quite strong. So just start off on your rough page and then slowly and gently in circles go onto your card. Now I started concentrating in the corner where the image was, and I wanted to see how this looked like with just the yellow around those two edges. I thought it would just make a bit of a different look from sponging all the way around. I'm using the Label Me Bold Happy Birthday sentiment and just cutting with my scissors, keeping them as straight as can be to just snip this down. Of course you can use your trimmer if you want to do that, leaving a white border around the sentiment. I wanted to add some more silver, so I'm using some silver foil and the rectangle stitched dies to cut out a border for my sentiment, and this just gives a really lovely effect around the edge. Thankfully the sentiment fits beautifully inside that stitched die. So I'm going to glue this down into position, and I'm going to leave it on the silver and trim it down later because I want to see how far I need to trim it. So I'm taking away my Melon Mambo paper to just cut away a die cut in the centre. 2 reasons: it lessens the bulk of the card because you've already got a few layers going on there, and it also means I'm a bit of a frugal crafter and I want that piece for another project. Nobody's going to see this, but anyway, it gets covered up. So going ahead and sticking down my layers with multi-purpose liquid glue, and then with a combination of the glue and some Stampin' Dimensionals, I'm sticking them at the end to just lift up a few of the corners. Annoyingly, I managed to get smudges on my work and I could not figure out where they were coming from. So, but thankfully, I managed to arrange my butterflies and my sentiment so it covered up any smudges that were happening. So I snipped away the end of the little silver bit to fit right in on the picture. I'm going in with some Winkostella, and you can see that because the ink is being picked up, it actually blends the pink in on the flowers, which is quite a nice look. I'm going in with my metallic pearls, a bit obsessed with those at the moment, but again, just because it's the silver theme, I thought I would use them in my project, trying to decide where to stick them. And then I'm going in with a lovely lipstick, and this is the nearest colour blend to the Melon Mambo, and I'm colouring in those pearls and just giving the flowers a centre to them. So please go ahead and join us over on Facebook if you'd like, and if you've got these colours at SU Colour Challenge. I should know the name, shouldn't I? Please subscribe to my channel, click that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think of my card today, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye for now.